What if the actors you loved had dark secrets? From fake hate crimes to shocking scandals and jail time, these 22 black actors went from fame to controversy. Some will shock you, others will make you furious. Let's begin with one of the most bizarre and talked about scandals in recent memory. This story started out really serious but turned into something people couldn't believe. In 2019, Jussie Smollett, who was known for his role on the show Empire, said he was attacked in Chicago late at night. He told the police that two men had yelled racist and anti-gay words at him, tied a rope around his neck, and poured a chemical on him. Everyone was shocked and angry for him. Celebrities, politicians, and fans supported him and wanted justice. But things got strange pretty fast. The police started investigating, and details weren't adding up. Security cameras didn't show the attack, and the two men who were arrested said Jussie had actually paid them to fake the whole thing. They even had the check he used to pay them. Jussie said he didn't lie, but a lot of people started thinking he made the story up to get attention or a raise on his show. Eventually, he was charged with making false police reports. In court, he kept saying he was innocent, but in 2021, he was found guilty. He was sentenced to 150 days in jail, but only served a few days before being released while he appealed the case. The whole thing was a huge mess. Jussie's career took a major hit. He was dropped from Empire, and many people felt disappointed because real hate crimes are serious. And this made it harder for victims to be believed. But if you thought that was twisted, wait till you hear what this next guy did to one of the most loved pop stars ever. This one really shocked fans everywhere. Back in 2009, Chris Brown and Rihanna were one of the most popular celebrity couples. They were both super famous and young, and people loved seeing them together. But things took a dark turn right before the Grammy Awards that year. The news broke that Chris had hurt Rihanna during a fight. Photos came out showing Rihanna's bruised face, and fans were heartbroken. Chris was arrested and later pleaded guilty to assault. He was sentenced to probation, community service, and had to attend counseling. After that, Chris faced a lot of backlash. Many people stopped supporting him. Radio stations stopped playing his songs, and brands cut ties with him. Some fans forgave him over time, especially after he apologized publicly and talked about trying to grow and learn from his mistakes. But others felt like what he did was too serious to just move past. Over the years, Chris Brown has had more controversies, like angry outbursts and more legal issues, which kept affecting how people saw him. Even though he's still successful in music, the 2009 assault is something people haven't forgotten. And speaking of troubled relationships, this next actor's personal life was full of shocking accusations. Terrence Howard is a well-known actor, but behind the scenes, his personal life has been full of controversy, especially when it comes to his relationships. Over the years, multiple women have come forward accusing him of being abusive. Some said he was physically violent, and others said he would yell and act controlling. These allegations go back years. In fact, his first wife accused him of hitting her during their marriage. Later, another ex-wife said he had also been violent with her. There were court documents, police reports, and even restraining orders involved. In interviews, Terrence didn't always deny the claims. He actually admitted to some of the things he was accused of and said that he had grown up in a violent home. He said he was trying to break that cycle, but it's clear that a lot of damage was already done. Because of these repeated stories and court battles, a lot of fans started seeing him differently. He still got acting jobs for a while, especially when Empire became popular, but the controversies definitely followed him. Some people feel like he never fully faced the consequences of his actions. Now let's talk about someone who didn't hurt his career in the courtroom, but made waves in Hollywood boardrooms. Mo'Nique is a super talented actress and comedian. She even won an Oscar for her role in the movie Precious. But her Hollywood journey hasn't been smooth. In 2018, she spoke out against Netflix, saying they offered her a really low amount of money, just $500,000, for a stand-up comedy special. She felt that it was way less than what they offered other comedians, especially white and male comedians like Dave Chappelle and Amy Schumer. Monique said it was because of racism and sexism. She asked her fans to boycott Netflix, and while some people supported her, others felt like she was overreacting. But that wasn't the only thing. She also had long-running issues with big Hollywood names like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and director Lee Daniels. She claimed they all played a part in pushing her out of the spotlight after she won the Oscar. Monique says she was blackballed because she didn't play the Hollywood game and refused to do free press for Precious. Her story got people talking about fairness in the entertainment world. Some agreed with her and said she was brave for standing up. Others said she was making too much noise and burning bridges. Think that was bold? The next comedian crossed the line in a way that sparked a major backlash. In 2011, Tracy got into serious trouble over some jokes he made during a stand-up show in Tennessee. During his performance, he made comments about gay people that upset a lot of people. One of the most talked about lines was when he joked that if his son were gay, he would do something terrible. Even though he said it as part of a comedy routine, a lot of people didn't find it funny. It came off as hateful and dangerous, especially at a time when bullying and violence against LGBTQ+ people were big issues. The backlash was quick. LGBTQ+ groups, fans, and even other celebrities called him out. Many people demanded an apology, and Tracy did apologize soon after. He said he didn't mean what he said and admitted that he crossed the line. He met with LGBTQ+ youth and activists to better understand why his joke hurt so many people. After the controversy, Tracy tried to make things right. He made public statements, visited homeless LGBTQ+ centers, and tried to rebuild trust. But Tracy's not the only comedian who faced heat for past jokes. The next guy had to give up the Oscars. In 2018, Kevin Hart was announced as the host for the Oscars, which is a huge deal for any comedian. It seemed like a dream come true for him. But soon after the announcement, things took a turn. Old tweets from Kevin Hart started resurfacing, posts from years ago where he had made jokes that many people found hurtful toward the LGBTQ+ community. The tweets included comments that were seen as homophobic, and a lot of people on social media called him out. They said he shouldn't be hosting the Oscars if he had made those kinds of jokes in the past. At first, Kevin didn't want to apologize again. He said he had already talked about this years ago and had grown as a person. But the pressure kept building. Eventually, Kevin decided to step down from hosting the Oscars. He said he didn't want to be a distraction and wanted the focus to stay on the awards and the artists. Later on, he did apologize again publicly and said he had matured and learned from his mistakes. This whole situation sparked a big debate online. Some people felt like Kevin was being treated unfairly for things he said a long time ago and believed he had changed. Others felt like the Oscars needed to be more inclusive and that people should be held accountable for their past words, even if it was years ago. And while Kevin was dealing with Twitter drama, this next star was dealing with something much worse: prison time. Wesley Snipes used to be one of the biggest action stars in Hollywood. He was super famous for movies like Blade, where he played a vampire hunter and looked super cool doing it. But in 2006, his name made headlines for a very different reason. He got in serious trouble with the government for not paying his taxes. It turned out that Wesley hadn't filed his tax returns for several years. That's a big deal because paying taxes is something everyone has to do, especially if you're earning millions in Hollywood. The government took him to court, and he was charged with multiple counts of tax fraud. He was found guilty of failing to file tax returns and sentenced to 3 years in prison. Wesley tried to appeal the decision, but it didn't work. He actually served most of the sentence and was released in 2013. That time away from Hollywood really affected his career. He went from being a top action hero to basically disappearing for a few years. By the time he came back, the industry had changed a lot, and new stars had taken over. He's done some projects since then, like appearing in Coming to America and a few smaller roles, but he never fully regained that superstar status. But tax trouble is nothing compared to what the next actor shared on Instagram. It got everyone talking, and not in a good way. Tyrese Gibson is mostly known for being part of the Fast and Furious movie series. But over the years, Tyrese has also become known for something else: his emotional and sometimes confusing posts on social media, especially Instagram. In 2017, Tyrese went viral after posting a video of himself crying and talking about a custody battle over his daughter. He was in a legal fight with his ex-wife and was really upset that he couldn't see his child. In the video, he broke down saying, "What more do you want from me?" It became a meme, but it was also pretty serious. That wasn't the only time he had public meltdowns. Tyrese also used Instagram to call out other actors like The Rock, blaming him for delays in the Fast and Furious movies. He would often go on long rants about money problems, family issues, and feeling left out in Hollywood. A lot of people started to worry about him. Some fans were supportive and said he was just being honest and emotional. Others thought he was oversharing or acting unstable. It became hard to separate the actor from the online drama. He later said that some of his behavior was caused by medication he was taking at the time, and that he was going through a really hard period in his life. He apologized and tried to move forward, but his online breakdowns left a big mark on how people saw him. That was emotional, but now let's get into a case with serious legal consequences and more than 30 accusers. Cuba Gooding Jr. is a famous actor who became a big star after movies like Jerry Maguire, where he played a loud, funny sports agent client. But years later, Cuba's name started popping up in the news for a very different reason. Over 30 women came forward accusing him of unwanted touching, groping, and other inappropriate behavior. Most of these incidents happened in bars, clubs, or public events. The women said he would touch them without permission, like grabbing or hugging in ways that made them uncomfortable. At first, he denied everything, but the number of women coming forward kept growing. Eventually, Cuba faced several charges in court. In 2022, he pleaded guilty to 1 count of forcible touching. That means he admitted to touching a woman without her consent. As part of the deal, he didn't go to jail, but he had to take counseling and stay out of legal trouble for a set time. A lot of people were shocked. Some fans were disappointed because they had always seen him as a fun, likable actor. Others felt he got off too easy, considering how many women had accused him. There were also debates online about how celebrities are treated in the justice system. Speaking of scandals, this next one shocked the whole world. From America's Dad to prison. Bill Cosby used to be one of the most loved TV dads in the world. His show, The Cosby Show, was a huge hit in the 80s and 90s, and he was known as America's Dad because of how kind and funny he seemed on screen. But years later, a completely different side of him came out, and it shocked everyone. Over 60 women accused Cosby of drugging and taking advantage of them. Some of these stories went back decades. Many women said he gave them drinks or pills and then did things to them without their consent. For years, people didn't believe the women, or they just stayed silent. But eventually, their voices became too loud to ignore. In 2018, Cosby was found guilty of sexual assault in one of the cases. He was sentenced to prison, and it felt like a big moment. Someone so famous and powerful was finally facing the consequences of his actions. He served a few years, but in 2021 his conviction was overturned due to a legal technicality. Basically, a deal he made years earlier with a prosecutor was broken, so the court had to release him. His release caused major backlash. Some people were angry and said it sent the wrong message to survivors. Others still supported him and believed he had been treated unfairly. Now, not every scandal is criminal. Some are about loyalty or lack of it. Just ask this next Hollywood strongman. Terry Crews is known for being funny, strong, and super positive. He's been in movies like White Chicks, shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and is also a former football player. But in 2020, Terry got caught in a big controversy that had fans pretty divided. Here's what happened. Gabrielle Union, another big star, spoke out about her time on America's Got Talent. She said the show had a toxic environment and that she faced racism and unfair treatment while working there. A lot of people supported her for speaking out, expecting others in Hollywood, especially fellow black actors, to back her up. But Terry, who was also a host on the same show, said he didn't experience any of the things Gabrielle talked about. In fact, he went on live TV and praised NBC, the network that airs the show, saying they treated him really well. He even said, "That's not my experience." People were shocked. A lot of fans and celebrities felt like Terry was ignoring Gabrielle's experience and making it harder for people to speak up about workplace problems. On social media, people accused him of throwing her under the bus. They expected him to at least show support, even if he had a different experience. Terry later apologized and said he didn't mean to hurt anyone. He said he was still learning how to be a better ally. Some people accepted his apology, while others were still upset. From TV drama to real-world controversy. Up next is a podcast that got one star canceled almost overnight. Nick Cannon has worn many hats. He's a comedian, TV host, actor, and even runs his own shows like Wild 'N Out. But in 2020, Nick found himself in the middle of a huge controversy that got him dropped from major networks. It all started when Nick did an interview on his podcast. During the conversation, he made some comments that were considered offensive toward Jewish people. He spoke about conspiracy theories and history in a way that many said sounded like anti-Semitic beliefs. As soon as the podcast aired, people on social media called it out and said what he said was harmful and full of misinformation. The backlash was fast. Viacom-CBS, the company behind Wild 'N Out, announced that they were ending their relationship with Nick Cannon. That was a big deal because Nick had worked with them for years and helped build a popular show. At first, Nick defended himself, but after hearing from people and doing some thinking, he posted a long apology. He said he was sorry for the words he used and that he didn't mean to hurt anyone. He also said he wanted to learn more and have real conversations to understand the Jewish community better. Nick ended up meeting with leaders from that community, and he even got support from some of them who said they appreciated his willingness to learn. Later, he got some of his shows back and continued working in entertainment. But even minor branding decisions can create major backlash. This next actor learned that the hard way. Michael B. Jordan is one of Hollywood's most loved actors. He's been in big films like Creed, Black Panther, and Fruitvale Station. He usually stays out of drama, but in 2021, he got caught up in a controversy over something that seemed small, but had big cultural meaning. Michael had just launched a new rum brand. The name he chose for the brand was Jouvert, which is a word with deep meaning in Caribbean culture. It's tied to Carnival and has historical roots going back to the times of slavery and freedom celebrations in Trinidad and Tobago. When people saw the name, many from the Caribbean community were upset. They said it felt like cultural appropriation, that he was using their tradition to sell alcohol without fully understanding its importance. The backlash started trending online, with even celebrities like Nicki Minaj stepping in to explain what Jouvert really meant to her culture. At first, fans were confused. Some thought it was just a cool name. But after learning more, people realized it was about respecting someone else's heritage. Michael B. Jordan listened to the feedback. He apologized publicly, said he was sorry for the mistake, and promised to change the name of the rum brand. He said he never meant to offend anyone and that he was learning from the experience. Still with me? Good, because the next one is about a billionaire musician whose downfall shocked even his biggest fans. Kanye West, who now goes by Ye, has always been known for pushing boundaries in music, fashion, and even politics. But in 2022, he went too far, even for many of his biggest fans. That year, Ye started making posts and interviews where he said things that were clearly anti-Semitic. He made comments about Jewish people that shocked the public. These statements weren't just rude, they were dangerous and full of old stereotypes that many people have fought against for years. The reaction was huge. Big companies like Adidas, Balenciaga, and Gap all cut ties with him. Even the talent agency that used to represent him dropped him. Losing those deals meant losing billions of dollars, and Ye's status as one of the richest entertainers quickly changed. People in Hollywood and the music world spoke out too. Some said they were heartbroken. Others said they weren't surprised, since Ye had been acting more unpredictable in recent years. Kanye did try to explain his side, but most people agreed that his words were just too hurtful to ignore. He also lost access to some social media accounts because of the things he posted. Even longtime fans found it hard to support him after that. But while Ye was trending for the wrong reasons, fans of this next star were worried for a very different reason: his life. In 2023, fans of Jamie Foxx got really worried when he suddenly disappeared from the spotlight. One day he was filming a movie, and then suddenly news came out that he had a medical emergency and had to be rushed to the hospital. But no one said exactly what happened. That's when the rumors started flying. Jamie's family kept everything super private. They didn't say what the health issue was, how serious it was, or even where he was. People only knew he was in the hospital recovering. At first, most fans were understanding, wishing him well. But as time went on and no updates came, people got suspicious. Some started wondering if things were worse than the family was saying. Others came up with wild conspiracy theories, everything from he was replaced by a clone to something shady happened on set. To make things even more confusing, there were reports that he had been released, followed by others saying he was still in recovery. Finally, after weeks of silence, Jamie posted a short message on social media saying he was okay and feeling better, but he still didn't share the full story. Even after that, fans were still unsure. Some believed he had every right to keep his health private. Others said that since he's a public figure, people deserved more answers. Let's move from mystery to lawsuits, because this next actor got accused of going way too far on set. Omar Epps is best known for his roles in movies like Love and Basketball and TV shows like House. He's always been seen as a calm, serious actor who keeps his private life out of the spotlight. But in 2017, his name made headlines because of something that happened while filming. A fellow actress sued him, saying that during a scene they were filming together, Omar got way too rough and actually broke her arm. According to her, the scene didn't require any physical violence, but he allegedly hit her with enough force to cause serious injury. She claimed he also hit her in the face and elbowed her. She said she wasn't warned, and it wasn't part of the script. Omar Epps and his team denied that he did anything on purpose. They said it was just a mistake during filming, a normal accident that can happen when actors are doing physical scenes. Still, the actress took him to court and said she deserved to be compensated. The case didn't drag on forever. It was settled quietly, which usually means both sides agreed to end it without a big public trial. That often includes a payment, but no one admitted to being guilty. Even though the story didn't stay in the news for long, it left a small mark on Omar's usually clean reputation. Some fans were surprised because he's not known for any kind of bad behavior. Others said accidents happen on set, and it wasn't a reason to judge him too harshly. Now here's one that's a little more personal. This scandal didn't start in Hollywood, but it definitely hurt someone who's big in it. Lawrence Fishburne is a legendary actor, best known for his roles in The Matrix and Boys and the Hood. He's respected in Hollywood and known for taking powerful, serious roles. But in 2020, something unexpected happened that brought attention to him, not for his acting, but for something personal involving his daughter. His daughter, Montana Fishburne, announced that she was entering the adult film industry. She said it was her choice and that she wanted to jumpstart her career. According to her, many celebrities had become famous by doing shocking things, and she thought this would help her get noticed. The news hit the media fast. People were shocked, especially because Lawrence Fishburne had always been seen as a private, professional guy. This wasn't just a random celebrity story. It was about a respected actor's daughter making a choice that went against everything people expected. Montana gave interviews saying she wasn't ashamed of her decision, but it was clear her father didn't support it. Reports said Lawrence was deeply upset and that their relationship became strained afterward. He didn't speak much publicly about it, but insiders said he felt embarrassed and hurt by her decision. For a while, Montana stayed in the spotlight, but not in the way she hoped. Instead of launching a successful career, she became known mostly for this scandal. Over time, she faded from the headlines, and the public moved on. But for Lawrence, that moment still sticks out as one of the most uncomfortable times in his career. Let's switch gears to a filmmaker whose work is loved by millions, but not without some strong opinions. Tyler Perry is one of the most successful filmmakers in Hollywood. He built a huge empire with movies, plays, and the famous Madea character, a loud, tough, funny grandmother played by Perry himself. His work made millions of people laugh and earned him a massive fan base, especially in the Black community. But while many love his work, Perry has also faced criticism. A lot of people, especially writers, actors, and critics, have said that his movies and TV shows sometimes promote stereotypes. For example, in many of his stories, the women are either struggling single moms or very religious and quiet. The men are often either terrible or too perfect. Some people feel like his characters are one-sided and not very realistic. The Madea character, in particular, gets mixed reactions. Some fans think she's hilarious and reminds them of real family members, but others feel like she plays into negative ideas about older Black women being loud, angry, or violent. Some critics say that even though the stories are meant to be funny or heartwarming, they can also be harmful if they keep showing the same types of characters over and over again. Tyler Perry has defended himself many times. He says he writes from real experiences and wants to make stories that people can relate to. He also points out that he's given jobs to a lot of Black actors, writers, and crew members, and that he built his own studio without depending on Hollywood. Still, the debate keeps coming up. Some say he's helping the community by creating work and telling stories. Others say he needs to grow and show more sides of Black life. And from Hollywood's biggest studio owner, we go back to the hospital set where drama wasn't just on screen. Isaiah Washington was once one of the main stars on Grey's Anatomy, one of the most popular medical dramas ever. He played Dr. Preston Burke, and fans loved his character. But behind the scenes, things weren't going so well, and it all came crashing down in 2007. During a heated moment on set, Isaiah reportedly used a homophobic slur when talking about his co-star, T.R. Knight. The news spread quickly, and it caused a huge stir in the media. Things got worse when Isaiah repeated the slur at an award show press conference, trying to deny that he said it, ironically making everything worse. Because of the backlash, ABC decided to fire him from Grey's Anatomy. It was a major move, especially since he was such a big part of the show. Fans were shocked, and Hollywood took notice. After he was fired, Isaiah tried to fix his image. He apologized publicly and even appeared in interviews saying he was misunderstood and didn't mean harm, but the damage was done. He struggled to get roles in major projects and was sidelined from the spotlight for a long time. Years later, he returned for a guest episode on Grey's Anatomy to help wrap up another character's storyline, but it was clear he wasn't returning as a main cast member. The show had moved on, and so had much of Hollywood. Up next, an actress who went from clueless to controversy and lost fans along the way. Stacey Dash is best known for her role as Dionne in the hit 90s movie Clueless. She was stylish, funny, and quickly became a fan favorite. But years later, Stacey became known for something totally different, her outspoken political views. In the 2010s, Stacey started appearing on news channels like Fox News, openly supporting conservative politics. That surprised a lot of people, especially because she had been a part of Black Hollywood. What really made headlines was when she said things like, "America should get rid of Black History Month and BET, Black Entertainment Television." She argued that if there's no White History Month, then there shouldn't be a separate month for Black history either. These comments didn't sit well with a lot of fans. Many people saw her as turning her back on her own community. On social media, people called her out, saying she didn't understand why those things existed in the first place, because they were meant to celebrate history and voices that often get ignored. Stacey stood by her opinions for a long time. She said she wasn't trying to offend anyone, just speaking her truth. But eventually, even Fox News let her go in 2017, and her media appearances started to slow down. In later interviews, she said she regretted how she went about sharing her views. She admitted that she came off harsh and that she had gone through personal struggles that made her angry at the world. It was her way of saying she had changed. That one was about politics. But the next actor, his story involves arrests, strange behavior, and lots of public concern. Orlando Brown used to be one of the funniest young stars on Disney Channel. He played Eddie in That's So Raven, and people loved his energy and humor. But after the show ended, things started to fall apart for him, and it happened in front of everyone. Over the years, Orlando was arrested multiple times for things like drug possession, resisting arrest, and strange behavior in public. He also gave interviews where he said some really odd things, like claiming he had relationships with other celebrities, or saying things that didn't make sense at all. Fans started to realize something wasn't right. Many believed Orlando was struggling with addiction and mental health problems. His behavior kept getting more unpredictable. Sometimes he'd post strange videos online or say things that made people worry for his safety. Other times, he'd seem fine, like he was trying to get better. In 2020, he surprised everyone by speaking at a church event, saying he had turned his life around and was sober. He said he found faith and was working on being healthy again. A lot of fans were happy to hear that and hoped he could stay on the right track. And finally, we end with one of the most disturbing stories in entertainment history, one that shook both music and Hollywood. R. Kelly is mostly known for his music, with huge hits like I Believe I Can Fly. But he also had ties to Hollywood, appearing in movies, music videos, and working with actors and directors. For years, there were rumors about him doing inappropriate things, but they were always ignored or brushed off. That all changed in the late 2010s. Multiple women came forward saying R. Kelly had used his fame to control and take advantage of them, some when they were very young. They described being trapped in houses, cut off from their families, and forced to do things against their will. The details were shocking, and it wasn't just one or two people. Over 20 women shared similar stories. In 2019, a documentary called Surviving R. Kelly aired, and it gave these women a powerful platform. The world finally started listening. Soon after, R. Kelly was arrested and charged with serious crimes, including sex trafficking, abuse, and exploitation. In 2021, he was found guilty and sentenced to 30 years in prison. The trial proved that he had harmed many people over a long period of time, using his fame and money to get away with it for years. This case was one of the biggest in music and entertainment history. It made people ask tough questions, like why it took so long for justice and how powerful people can hide dark secrets for years. Which story surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that go beyond the headlines.